Oh. Whoa. Check that. Yes! That's the longest I've ever made it juggling, and I'm glad you guys all got to watch it. I am Dr. John McPhee. I'm from the Wellness Group, and I'm here with Healthy TV. This is episode 20, and on today's show, what I want to do, I can keep it really short and sweet, but I wanted to give you some really great strategy to help with headaches. And I know we see a ton of people in practice who suffer from headaches. In fact, over 50% of Canadians actually deal with headaches on a regular basis. Even 9% of Canadians actually have been diagnosed with the most severe form of headaches, which is migraines. I'm not sure about you guys, I've only ever dealt with 2 migraines my whole life, and man, what a terrible thing to go through. So I can only imagine those people that deal with them on a weekly or monthly basis. And so I really am motivated to help people to really resolve headaches. And one of the things we're going to talk about today is actually a great strategy, a $5 ball that can help you at least manage some of the problems that can lead to headaches. And really, I think one of the key things that we see, there's actually I think a cause or at least a root problem that leads to headaches that hardly anybody talks about, and that's the posture, the position of our neck. And one of the most common things, you guys probably see this actually, if you look around your office place or your school or your classroom, you'll see people with this forward head posture, or anterior head syndrome is what we call it. And that anterior head syndrome, we're not designed to be like this. And actually what that does is it changes a lot of the structure, and it changes the mechanics of your neck, and it can put a lot of stress on those tissues in the neck, so the muscles, ligaments, tendons, the discs, the joint capsules, all those things. But it can also put a lot of tension on your nerve system, your spinal cord. And there's actually some really interesting recent research looking at distortion or shifting in the spine, particularly in the upper part of the spine, and how that relates to the development of headaches, and in particular migraines. And they're showing that as people can correct the distortion and also get appropriate movement happening, that can really help to resolve the problems like migraines and headaches. And so today what I want to, it's really difficult for you guys to maybe address any distortion in the spine itself, but I thought one of the outfalls of that is that if we're like this all the time, that means these muscles have to work a lot harder. They gotta, and the muscles at the base of the head as well, they've got to work a lot harder to support and stabilize the head. So one easy thing to do is using this $5 lacrosse ball and actually doing some self-massage. So you can think about this, it doesn't quite fit in your pocket, but it'd be like having a massage therapist in your pocket, something that you can use on a daily basis that can give you a lot of relief. So I'm going to go through 3 different exercises, or 3 different applications that you can do. All you need is a lacrosse ball. I recommend that you actually get a lacrosse ball because of the density. They're heavy balls. They actually have, they're quite dense, and that's the kind of actual, I guess, force that you want. Using a tennis ball can be somewhat useful, but at some point you're going to want to upgrade to a lacrosse ball. You can go to, there's actually purpose-built ones for this type of work, but they're a lot more expensive. I just recommend getting a lacrosse ball. All right, so this is all you need, and then all you need is a wall. So I'm going to get my handy doctor assistant here to come and grab the camera for me, and he's going to help us out here so that you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. So you're going to hold it that way. Perfect. All right. So with the ball, the first thing we're going to actually focus on is I talk about how if we're in this position, one of the things that happens is we get this rounded shoulder. Okay, and oftentimes that'll cause these. You know, it's all part of the same kind of complex, but these muscles will get really tight. But if these ones get shortened, it's really difficult to counteract, to lighten the load on these back ones. So we're going to get to these 2, but at first we're going to focus on the muscles in the chest. So what you're going to actually do is use the ball, and we're just going to work on rolling around these tissues. Just imagine like a massage therapist using their hands to scope through the muscle to find any tight bands, any like areas that are really tender. And so basically all it is I'm just going to get up against the wall, and I'm just going to roll around. Okay, and I'm going to basically search around for any tight band, any parts of the muscle that are really tender, and then you can actually just hold those spots, just like a massage therapist would do. They get their thumb stuck in there, their elbow stuck in there. You can do some nice deep breaths. You can actually raise your arm up the side of the wall. That'll help to just induce some movement. You'll feel it, the character change, so it'll probably, you'll feel it kind of melt away. Then you can scan around again. I would say spend about 2 minutes on both sides. Okay, so that's working on the front part. That's going to help to loosen these muscles so that we can actually be able to get our shoulders in a healthy position. And then on the back, I often then just say, like, okay, let's go right to these muscles here, all along the shoulder and into the trap. You probably heard the trap muscle. And they're the ones that actually have to work a lot harder when we have this forward head posture. In fact, we know that like for about every inch forward that your head translates, that actually doubles the weight relative to these tissues. So that means they have to work twice as hard. So for every inch forward, they have to work twice as hard, okay? So we're gonna actually use the ball. We're gonna go all around the traps and actually all into the inside of the shoulder blade. I'm gonna do it against the wall, okay? So basically, get the ball just caught into that upper ridge of the traps, and you can roll around. Again, it's kind of choose your own adventure. You're just gonna look for the tight spots, the parts that are really tender. You may find that you keep flipping over like a nodule, so you can actually just work through that, which I have one right now. Okay, you're gonna go all the way up into the back of the neck. Okay, scope around. If you want to put it a bit lower and go along the side of the shoulder blade. Okay, just searching around. And really it's just, again, you're kind of making up the rules. You're just doing as much as you can. I spend about 2 to 3 minutes on either side. Okay, the last area is right at the base of the skull. And if you've ever had a really good suboccipital massage, that's that area, this is suboccipital, that can give you a lot of relief. Those muscles can get really tight. And so we're gonna use the ball. This one you're gonna be really gentle with, but again, same principle. We're gonna go up against the wall, and I'm just gonna get it hooked into that little nook at the base of the skull. Okay, with my chin tucked. And I'm just gonna, you can maybe have to hold the ball. You're just gonna roll around, come up into the skull, out to the side, and even rotate the head. You're really just searching around for those tender spots, and then you can actually just hold, if you find one, hold it, gently tuck the chin even more, and you'll feel that the tension actually increasing under the ball, and eventually it'll melt away, and then you can search around, go to the other side. Okay, again, probably about 60 seconds per side would be enough to start. All right, so that's 3 easy ways to use the ball to help release tension in the muscles. They're probably, if you do suffer from headaches, they're probably at least contributing to this, the kind of maintaining this posture. So it's one of the steps that's essential really to help to reorganize. Now, if you do find that you have this forward head posture and it's something that you're really struggling to correct, that's something that you can talk to us about. It's something that we can definitely help with, and well, at least we can figure out if we're the right people to help you with that type of problem. And so the next step would be to go through a comprehensive neurostructural examination. And so if you want any more information about that, just put a comment below and I'm happy to send that to you. Lastly, I put a link in the description above. That's to a blog post I recently wrote about headaches. It goes much more in depth into 3 causes that you may not have thought about, and some easy strategies that you can put in place to help manage or hopefully provide a solution to your headaches. All right, so that's it for today, and we will be back next week with more Move by Design, so movement related, exercise related topics. Any particular questions, put them below. Otherwise, I'll see you next week.